So we are in a political season. We're set up to elect the next president of the United States of America coming up here in a few months. The so-called leader of the free world. Now, this election is not going to be just the president of the United States, which is pretty much like a chief executive officer of a corporation, because the United States is a corporation, which says the president is going to have people that he has to answer to as well. Just like with a corporation, they have the CEO and then they have the board of directors, which the CEO answers to. So the structure is kind of like that. Not 100% like that, but somewhat like that. Now, what we're led to believe is that we have two-party system for the most part. And then, of course, the ancillary, you have independents and Green Party and things of that nature. But for the most part, what we've been fed is that we have Democrats and we have Republicans. Those are the dominant parties. From a long time ago, is before I know what I know now, but before I just couldn't understand, like, why everything that this group of people says, the other group is 100% anti what that group says. Everything. Can't agree on anything. Red flags, antennas go up, boom, boom, boom. So therefore, the research starts. Now, as a logically thinking person, I'm just like, okay, I don't give a fuck what they're saying. What makes sense to me? That's how I live my life. What makes sense to me? That's it. I'm not feeding into all this propaganda. You got propaganda coming from you left, right, up, down, diagonal, coming from everywhere. Everybody wants you to believe what they're saying. They want you to embrace it. They want you to bring that into your life. But if you are a logically thinking person, you can compartmentalize, and what makes sense to you, you're gonna roll with that. What doesn't make sense to you, you get rid of it. It's like it never existed. It doesn't bother you. So, and we're gonna speak specifically just about the two parties that they throw in front of us every day. Because we can go down a rabbit hole and talk about all types of stuff, but we're going to speak about what most people see and they can relate to every day. One side you got Democrats, one side you got Republicans. Now, Democrats tell you we are fighting for you to be able to delete your babies anytime, anywhere, anytime you feel like it, this, that, and the other. Tell me, in what world is that okay? Meanwhile, Republicans are saying, look, we want to give you a choice for the most part. Look, we know, I'll go back to Democrats. They always point to the worst case scenario, the R word or incest or something like that, which if you look at the percentages, those things just never happen. A woman really doesn't become impregnated by the R word or incest. If you look at the overall numbers, it just don't happen. That's one of the fear-mongering tactics of Democrats. So meanwhile, Republicans are saying you're going to have a choice. Even if it's the so-called worst case scenario that the Democrats tell you, look, you have this child, there's resources. If you want to keep it, you can keep it. If you want to give it up for adoption, you can give it up for adoption. Because it's just crazy to me that Democrats are fighting so hard and they don't call it what it is. They say stupid shit like body autonomy, a woman's right to choose. A woman is put on this earth to give birth. That's her purpose. Once she is pregnant for any reason, that's her purpose. She decides to get rid of it. That's being selfish. That's being worldly. And not only that, is going to ruin her mentally. That's what your Democrats are fighting for. That's exactly what they're fighting for. Because everything that women do is based off of emotions. Everything. That's why the Democrats mostly pander to women. They mostly pander to women because if they pander to males, men will be like, okay, no, that's dumb. We're not doing that, and then we'll be done with it. Women will be like, well, and that's all it takes. That's all it takes. And the fact that just on the earth there are just more women than men, well, then there you go. And a fetus, something has to happen for it to become a male. All fetuses are female. So something has to happen before it becomes a male. And so the Democrats understand this fact that you get the women, race doesn't matter. You get the women to think how we think, and we get what we want, which ultimately is absolute power. Now, they don't have absolute power because you do have a Republican Party over here who is the antithesis of what they want to do. All right. So let's talk about some of the policies, shall we? We already talked about they're fighting so hard for you to be able to delete your baby anytime you want to, anywhere. So I heard about and forgive me because it just came up in my head. Some states you actually have a drop box or something like that. After you have the baby, and then if you don't want to keep the baby, you can just put it in this very comforting, air-conditioned, heated drop box thing without any repercussions whatsoever. Now, while that is terrible, it is much better than just deleting the child, getting the child sucked out of your womb with a vacuum. That's much better than that. But so let's talk about some of the policies. So we already talked about that, the deletion of life. And so we're going to talk about gun rights. If you understand anything about the Constitution was based on rights given by God. Because the founding fathers of the Constitution, they were very spiritual men, all of them, and most of them were pretty young. And so they based the Constitution on their beliefs that they got when they prayed to God. First Amendment, freedom of speech, I think is the most important amendment that exists. And here's an example of that. It's so, how can I break it down? I'm just going to break it down to the very last compound. So if you live in a neighborhood, you and your neighbor, y'all communicate. So say if you see something that's going wrong, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, allows you to go conversate with the neighbor. Hey, did you see that? Yeah, I saw that. Boom, 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 blah, blah, blah. And then things happen from there. Whether that thing is good or bad, this, that, and the other. They want to take that away from you. That's the most important amendment that we have. Now, the Second Amendment was you have the right to bear arms in case your government becomes tyrannical and try to rise up against the people, because the way the government works is that they're supposed to be working for you, for the people. They're supposed to be doing what the people tell them. They're not doing that. They getting in there. They doing what they want to do. How can a government official become making $200,000, then all of a sudden become a millionaire in a year? Somebody tell me that. They ain't doing what you want to do. You ain't giving them all that money. Somebody's giving them all that money. But that's just the state of what it is today. And here's the thing. If you watch the news, like, I don't watch like news on TV. I don't really watch TV at all. I watch clips, and I mainly get my information from alternative media for the most part, which don't have an agenda. And the Democrats, and maybe people that stand with them, they come on the air, on the internet, and they just outright lie. I've seen it. They just make up things. Just to give you one example, there's millions of examples, but just to give you an example, Donald Trump was at a rally and he said it'll be a bloodbath. Now, the Democrats took that statement and they just blew it all out of proportion and all out of context, this, that, and the other. Now, Donald Trump, knowing what he knows now, he probably shouldn't have said those words, but I'm not going to hold it against him for saying those words, because he's just speaking. He don't use a teleprompter for the most part. Now, the context of the bloodbath, he was talking about the car industry. He wasn't talking about America at all. At all. E-T-A-L. At all. He wasn't talking about America. But no. The Democrats took that statement and they still using it to this day. Oh, he said it would be a bloodbath if he's not reelected. Like, the country's gonna go up in flames and all this, that, and the other. So, outright lie. That's something that they're gonna do. Oh, and who can forget when Donald Trump made the speech? He said 2 words: black jobs. So many dummies got offended when he said black jobs. When, bring it back, we know what he was talking about. Again, the context is important. And on top of that, what he's saying is true. What he was saying is that the lower level labor, service industry and construction and those type of things, right? Black people used to, not anymore because they brought all the migrants in, held those jobs. Let's not get it twisted. Give you an example. Went to Evanston, Illinois, not too long ago. Beautiful houses, nice suburb of Chicago. Every single landscaper that I saw, what color do you think they were, since we so focused on color in this country? Every one of them was a 5'3" Latino man. Every single one of them. Passed by construction sites. 5'3" Latino men. Every single one of them. Those used to be so-called, in quotations, black jobs. So I think y'all need to start thinking. Think about what is said and think about what it means. More important than that, here's what'll help you. Think about if it's the truth or if it's a lie. That's where we need to go. If it's a truth or is it a lie? When he said black jobs, I knew exactly what he meant from the start. But when he said, I was like, oh shoot. The other side is going to take this and they're going to run with it. They're going to take it out of context. And then they're going to make this guy look racist. And they say Donald Trump is racist. I don't know if Donald Trump is racist or not. But I will tell you, I've searched and researched and searched again and looked and this, that, and the other. I've seen no proof that this guy is racist. If he is, so be it. I don't care. Are you going to do what's best for this country? That's what I care about. Because when this country is doing good, everybody's doing good. This is not slavery times. It's just not. So the bottom line of any of this is, any statement, any policy, anytime anybody says anything, if you look for the truth and you're being honest about looking for the truth, that will get you where you need to be. Black jobs. Oh, I'm offended. Oh, shit. He said black job. No. Bring it back. Get out of your feelings. And if you search for the truth within the black jobs statement, you'll know what he's saying was true.